Cedric the Entertainer is one of y'all, those comedians, Chris Tucker. All of us was like on the circuit. We was like traveling, going everywhere. Money was not an issue, but it wasn't about money. It was about our children, and it was about making a difference. Because I was one of those kids. You know, I'm standing up here with a metal plate in my mouth, had over 350 stitches in my back. As a teenager, my freshman year of high school, I made all F's and 1 D. I got my transcript to show you. And it took some people, some serious people in the community, ministers, and people say, listen, you were better than that. And that's all it took, believe it or not, in a nutshell.
Wow.
Somebody say, you better than that. I'm like, I am? Well, let me start studying. Let me start, you know, nobody ever said it was not a big, it wasn't surgery. You know, you didn't have to put me in graduate school. You just had to tell me and let me believe. So that's all we're doing now. That's why I said let's make Georgia be more positive. Let's go out and let these kids know. Now, as a result, 20, 30 years later, I'm the father of one son who could have gone to Harvard or Yale. He turned it down. He went to UGA. He's at UGA at Terry Business School, which is just A, which is great. My other son in the Naval Academy. You know, and here I am, a kid who could have, anything could have. My other son is a straight A student at Parkview. I got one more, like y'all said, how many kids you have? But you know, I got 4 kids. And I'm gonna tell you something. One thing I try to tell my son, and I used it in the comedy scene the other night, I said, you know, I try to let my son know, though he went to Harvard, I want him to know that his daddy is not that smart. So I had to tell my son, yeah, son, you go to Harvard. I said, I could have gone to Harvard too. You know, he said, you could, Dad? I said, yeah. I said, in fact, I went to Harvard. He said, you went to Harvard? I said, yeah. He said, I said, yeah. And I wasn't lying. I did go to Harvard. And it was the best field trip I've ever been on, too. You know, I can tell him that. But seriously, we need to make a difference. For the last 10 years, we've been in Gwinnett County. We've done so much work in Gwinnett County. And I was disappointed how things turned out when you look at the article. That's why I'm here in the cab, because I think it's a great time right now to go out and make an impact. I think anybody who's really want to be taken to win offices and stuff like that, we have to look at the fact that we're not a new segregation. We've got to look at our kids and what is being done. And I like the fact that, you know, the governor, the things that he's doing in the prison system and trying to find alternatives. I mean, I was really impressed with that. And that's one of the things that really won me over to make a commitment to go out and fight for it. And that's why I'm here today, because I know I see some of the same people here. So again, my name is Larry Bill. You was talking about nonprofit. This sentence right here has really changed my outlook on Gwinnett and made me look at, I want to do some bigger things in Georgia. I want to find people who really are passionate. And a while ago, I won Best Minority Nonprofit in Gwinnett County. We won the Best Minority. Now, along with that, you're supposed to have some business people supposed to come together and put money in. You know what I mean? And they're going to help you with seed money and all this stuff. So I'm like, dang, when I won the Best Minority Nonprofit, I said, guess what? I told my wife, listen, baby, we'll be able to get the seed money to really go out and impact the schools and stuff like that. So when the check came, I don't know if y'all know Mr. Herman Penniman, but you know, he was one of the people over the program. When the check came, I looked at it. Now this is the whole county now, Gwinnett. In that check, as I closed, $200. $200. And 100 came from one person. And when they set me aside, we was talking about it. I'm like, why is that? You know, they said, well, listen, I'll be honest with you. He said, what you care about, nobody else will care about. They said, you care about these kids who are in trouble. You care about these kids staying in school. You care about these kids who are wayward and making bad decisions. Be honest with you, people don't care. And that kind of like made me realize, damn. They said, what you're really good at, don't nobody care. In other words, he said, well, he really said nobody gives a damn. What you're really good at, these kids being successful, turning their lives around. And now the AJC 2 weeks ago really solidified that. They said Georgia leads the nation with kids. Why? It was true. Nobody cared. I refuse to believe it. That's why I'm here. And I said, if we can't do anything there with the record that we have, and I want those type of people, as I close the list, I want those type of people. I don't want you to give me nothing. I work for mine. You understand? I proved myself. We put $100,000 in the school system before we got one partnership. $100,000 of my own money, and I'm not rich. I'm just a comedian who can go and do a show, 2 or 3,000 here, 2 or 3,000, and I know how to manage. You know what I'm saying? We know, and my wife is behind me. If that wasn't the case, I couldn't take our savings, I couldn't take our funds and do this. But it's an investment in what I think is bigger than stocks, and that's the lives of your children, your grandchildren, and mine. So that's why I'm here. I thank you.
Thank you.
So we're worse than Chicago.
According to the AJC, I didn't do the research. I just read it. I mean, it's only been a couple. What was it? The 7th of this month. I didn't know that either. So that really struck me because I'm fighting for it. We're fighting for this. This is literally what we've been doing. We're front and center. We're not doing it from the sideways. We're not doing it once we get off work. You know, we're not doing it once we finish this other. This is front and center for us. This is what we are here to do. Everything else is secondary.
Have you been able to work with the CAB school system as Dr. Green's superintendent?
Well, I've sent some information out. I actually started in the CAB in 1996. Fox Evening News did a special on me called A Man with a Message, and they came to McNair High School in the CAB, and I was speaking there in front of the whole school. It's still on YouTube, but that's on. You know, that's really I went to Florida and stuff. So no.
Thank you.
It's a long way to say no. Thank you.